So, there's something that I want to touch on because, like, I'm not really understanding where people's mental capacity goes. Like, when you're in a relationship and you're with somebody, I don't really understand the need to get attention from other people. Like, especially guys, I really feel if they're watching corn and, they're doing lustful things on the internet, like looking at girls on Instagram or looking at girls on any other pages, like, why are you even in a relationship? Like, I've had so many friends tell me, oh, well, I went through his history and he was watching this or that and it really upset me. And we already had a discussion. This is cheating. And then my question is, well, why are you letting it happen? Like, the problem is, though, with a lot of guys, you tell them that you found this evidence on their phone, and then the first thing that they do is they start doing secret browsers and they start hiding the stuff. Or there's just the guys that don't care that literally, like, subscribe to OnlyFans and, they don't really care what their girl has to say. My thing is, it's a disrespect thing. Like, you're in a relationship with a girl, 9 times out of 10, chances are she's had trauma from another relationship. Like, I have had three major relationships where I've been cheated on. The first one, we had a kid together and I ended up marrying him because I thought he loved me and he cheated on me. The second one was a guy that seen everything going on and happening in the first relationship and was like, yeah, this guy is an a-hole. Like, I'm going to take care of you. And he cheated too. And the third guy was someone who I met at work, told all my trauma to, said that he really understood and cared about my feelings and that I was too nice of a person, and he did the same thing. A relationship is a work in progress. A relationship is something that constantly takes work. Like, you're not going to get a relationship and then it's just going to be like roses and butterflies and fucking rainbows like the whole time. Like, there's major components to a relationship that I haven't had in all my relationships, but there's major components like communication, there's trust, there's loyalty, and there's other things. There's so many other things. Like, different people have different boundaries, different people have different requests for their partner out of respect. You guys should be able to sit down and talk about it. What upsets me is somebody that gets in a relationship and then when it gets too rough, they want to leave. Like, you guys should be able to sit down face to face and say, hey, this is the problem that I'm having. Can we fix this? 9 times out of 10, people get offended. And that was something that I learned through counseling with my therapist. It's honestly the way that you say things. If you sit down and you say, you this, you that, you this, of course, they're going to get offended. If you sit down and you say, hey, look, I'm really feeling that, we both do this or we both do that, like, that's a whole different level because you're recognizing your faults and mean it, and you're recognizing their faults and you're talking to them about it. A lot of people don't do that. A lot of people go right into, I'm going to stay quiet and then I'm going to yell at you. There's so many things that can cause a relationship to go south really fast, and people are willing to throw relationships away, or their partner just isn't doing it for them and so they want to be in another relationship. Like, I don't understand how you could spend 3-4 years with somebody and then just throw that away. Like, my fiance, for example, his last relationship, they were together 4 years, they lost a child, and she took it differently than he did. He wanted to comfort her and, them get over it together. She wanted to basically push him away and huge backstory to it, but basically use it as an excuse to leave. And he already had suspicions that things were going on. And then she ended up going and turning lesbian. I think she already was. We've kind of had a long talk about it. But the thing is, in that situation, that wouldn't be me. Everybody handles trauma different. I totally get it. But if I was to lose a child with somebody I love, I would not push them away. And something that we've discussed is obviously she didn't love him from the beginning because she wouldn't have handled it the way she did. With my ex, for example, when I went to counseling, I didn't understand why I was getting triggered. He was talking to girls behind my back. He was talking to this one girl in particular, and she was sending him nudes for marijuana. I caught on to it. I found out what was going on. I didn't like the way that things were going, and I was the asshole. He gaslit me the whole time. I ended up going to counseling. I told my counselor everything. Told her basically how he responded to me, how he talked to me. She told me, approach it this way. I tried to approach it that way, and it didn't work. She said, try to approach it this way. So after trying for months to talk to him like he's a little tiny baby because he can't have a conversation, I found out he was a narcissist, and he was a gaslighting, pathological liar. I took him into one of my sessions because I found out why I was getting triggered and actually what had happened. From childhood trauma and past relationships, I had PTSD, anxiety, and manic depression. If somebody loves you, they're going to support you. They're going to sit there through all of it and support you no matter what. We go into the session. She tries to tell him, hey, this is the way her brain works. This is the way that she accepts things. And basically, he argued with her the whole time. It was pretty embarrassing. I told her, this is why I feel like I can't get any words in edgewise. I feel like this is why I can't have a communication session. We can't work anything out. We get out to the car, we get in the vehicle, and I say, well, I was trying to tell you, these are the things that I was diagnosed with. And he looked me dead in the face and said that, no, that was just an excuse for me to be a bitch. So there are times where there are cases where a relationship isn't going to work. In my case, the relationship isn't going to work. You can't tell somebody, something and then them turn around and you're wrong the whole time. That's pretty much what my relationship was for 10 years with my ex-husband. He's very arrogant. He definitely says things that, you tell him something, you're wrong. He's right every time. You tell him how you feel, you're wrong. He says, screw you, I'm going to do what I want. And you tell him basically that, that's not right. We should be able to talk this out. And he'll sit there and say, I never said you were wrong. I never said this. He is a gaslighting liar, pathological liar. And it's a shame because there are relationships where kids are involved at that point and then there's no working it out. That's unfortunately been the pattern for me is I, find somebody and I tell them all up front, my trauma, my history, my past, relationships, I have children. And unfortunately, I always somehow get the really broken, effed up ones. But my current relationship now, we communicate about things. We talk about things. We don't let stupid things bother us. That's how it should be. You should be able to be open with your partner. We've told each other some really deep, dark secrets. And, you're supposed to be best friends. You're supposed to communicate. A lot of people don't have that. A lot of people just want somebody at the time because they're lusting and it's not love. But my thing is, and I've said this to people for years, if you don't want to be with somebody, leave. There's no reason that you should sit there and create trauma for that person because you don't want to be with them. You cheat on them. You watch porn behind their back. You lust over other women. That is not the way to do it. If you don't want to be with them and things aren't working, you need to sit down and talk with them. At least let them know you're done. That's all I've ever asked in every relationship that I've been in is just to please tell me if you don't want to be with me. That's respect. Same thing with them. If I don't want to be with them, I will tell them. And there have been boyfriends that I've gotten that I'm just like, yeah, this ain't working. Sorry. I can't do this. I don't want to hurt you. I don't mean to hurt you, but this just isn't working. We can't do this. And they get all butthurt and they beg and they cry and I get it. And I hate hurting people's feelings, but I'm not going to sit there and be miserable while they're happy and they think that I love them when I don't. Or they think that I want more than what we have and it's just not working. It's a respect. Yeah, you're going to hurt them, but I would rather be hurt in a way that someone tells me, hey, look, I don't want to be with you anymore, than, hey, I just screwed your best friend.